with the stock market rally, and we've had $8 or $10 trillion increase in consumer net worth. It's the bottom 50% that's been the biggest beneficiary. I just don't think any of that story has changed, and I don't think you can cherry pick one little number like that.
Well, look,
today's report in general, Stu. Today's report in general, from my lights, 145,000 is a good number, solid economic growth number. Again, 3.5% unemployment is a remarkable number. And, that unemployment report comes from the household survey, which had 265,000 job increase, a gigantic number. So I still think the economy is strong. And I think the stock market, with the tremendous rally up almost 30% in the past year, that's got to be telling us business and consumer confidence is rising, and the economic outlook in the next year is going to be stronger.
Do you expect what we call the wealth effect? I mean, we've had such an enormous run-up in the stock market.
Yes.
$12.8 trillion added to the value of American business since the election. How does that flow out into the general economy?
I think that's a really important point. And look, it not only flows out through the businesses, which gives them the resources to expand. Productivity has been rising. They have been investing. They have been using their business tax cuts. But the shareholders are the ultimate winners. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Only the richest people own the stock. They may own the biggest share because they got more money. But actually, you look at the Federal Reserve consumer finance studies, middle-income people have retirement accounts and 401ks, and they have had a fabulous period. Actually, it's been a fabulous 3 years, the last year. Now, that gives them wealth, that gives them resources, that gives them confidence. They spend, they start new businesses, and I think this is all part of the tremendous dynamic of the U.S. economy. I mean, look, President Trump's policies have opened the door to all of this, all right? Taxes and regulations and energy independence and lower trade barriers just yesterday. I mean, this maybe gets overlooked. Just yesterday, his announcement on reducing environmental regulations and cutting the time period to okay new infrastructure projects. This is a tremendous thing. Instead of waiting 30 years to build bridges, roads, and tunnels that create jobs and wealth and wages, now we're going to put a 2-year timetable and maybe a 1-year timetable. So this is just one of many areas. And, you net this stuff out. What is the number? Income is up average income is up $5,000 after inflation and taxes. And they're saying now the regulatory burdens have been reduced by about $3,000 a family. So this just all flows into a tremendous dynamic growth story.
Okay, it appears that we are short of some skilled workers. A lot of skilled workers. We are short, don't have them. Why don't we import them? Why don't we open up some immigration to skilled workers that we want? Why can't we do that?
Well, Lord knows, the president has attempted immigration reform, trying to shift the system, first of all, to a strictly legal basis.
Yeah, well, couldn't you just change the visas? I mean, couldn't you just up the number of visas that you want to offer? You could do that.
Well, yeah, again, we have a whole package of reforms, which is based on merit, exactly the sort of thing you're talking about. And we're looking at additional reforms also. People may want to come in and invest in the United States. So we want merit. We want skilled workers to come in. We want them to come in on a legal basis. Fortunately, a lot of the border problems now have receded. The illegal immigration flow has come down quite a bit. Those are all big pluses. But to your point, yes, we are looking at a number of visa changes. And the whole idea here is we want a merit-based system. So I agree with you, but I also want to add, my colleague, Ivanka Trump, has done so much work on job reskilling and job retraining, recruiting, I don't know, she's 400 companies plus, millions of people are eligible. The BLS is going to start reporting the results. This is all about job reskilling and retraining, which is what you're talking about. So companies are hungry to hire, and we are doing everything we can to work with the private sector, not government mandates, but the private sector to do just that.
Now, the president was in Ohio last night, and he gave an interview, I think it was to an Ohio radio station, where he suggested that the Phase 1 China trade deal might not actually be signed on January the 15th. It may be after that. Is there some problem here that we don't know about?
No, I'm not aware of that interview. I'm not aware of that statement. The president here yesterday, when he unveiled his environmental reforms, regulatory reforms, said just the opposite. I can tell you that the authenticity of the translation has worked out beautifully. It is virtually complete. Vice Premier Liu He will be here next week. There'll be an official signing on January 15th by President Trump and the Vice Premier. I spoke to Ambassador Lighthizer about this last evening. Everything is going according to Hoyle, and it is a whopper of a deal, which is what the President said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday. I'm not sure what your radio source is there, but no, we have a completely different point of view. And by the way, just one quickie point here. I mean, not only is this a pro-growth deal, it's going to add at least a half a point to GDP and more over time, but people say, well, you left the easy stuff, you left the hard stuff for later. No, we didn't. We got whatever we got, 40 or 50% of Phase 1. Second point I want to make is that Ambassador Lighthizer, I was talking to Bob last night on the phone, checking in. No one has ever done this before, Stu. No trade deal in the history of China-U.S. relations ever. So let me tell you, the first one is always the toughest one just because it's never been done before. We are setting precedents everywhere. And again, there's going to be, strict discussions to resolve disputes and whatnot. But we covered a lot of ground, and it's all according to Hoyle. It's all on schedule.
I'm just looking to next week, Wednesday, the Democrats debate in Des Moines, Iowa. It's supposed to be about the economy. I think they're going to raise the issue of income inequality. I think they're running on income inequality. It's not fair, it's not right. Do you think that this income inequality, which is said to be greater and more extreme now than it's been for generations, is that a problem for the economy? Does it hold us back?
I don't think it's true. I think, in fact, that whole story is incorrect. In fact, just in the past 3 years, during this administration, we have seen, again, I'll say this, we've talked about this, it is the lower-end wage earners who are doing the best. Okay, they have the fastest wage gain.
But it is the wealthy,
10%,
it is the wealthier people who are going to take the lion's share of the gains from the huge stock market rally. That's a fact.
I'm just looking through my cards here. Let me just read you something our Council of Economic Advisors just put out. Real net worth, okay, household net worth, that's the Federal Reserve series, right? Basically, your home and your retirement portfolio stocks. The bottom 50%, this is over the 3 years of President Trump, the bottom 50% has increased their net worth by 47%, okay? Second, the top 1% has increased their net worth by 13%. Now look, the rich are richer, okay? That's why they're a little different than some of us, okay? You as a successful, wealthy broadcaster would understand that, and that's, your crowd. Just kidding. But the fact of the matter is, I can't resist it. I have some fun.
No, you can't.
The fact is, those people proportionately at the bottom half have done much better than the top half. They are closing the gap. And the gap here, look, it's about growth and resiliency and dynamism and entrepreneurship. It's not about class warfare. I want the wealthiest to take advantage of lower tax rates and deregulation and things like opportunity zones, right, in the poorest parts of our country. Opportunity zones, which waives investment taxes for a period of time. That's the way our system works. those that have the resources, provided that we reward their efforts, will invest them into those areas that need the resources. That is what a free enterprise, dynamic economy looks like. That's what entrepreneurship looks like. That's what we are doing. Now, some on the other side are painting a picture of an economy that is, at the edge of the abyss, the dark of night, in a deep recession, except the 22 people who have succeeded. That is just nonsense. Utter nonsense. 7 million new jobs in 3 years? Are you kidding? You know how strong that is? But again, the low-end wage earners having a faster rate of increase than their managers, and even in terms of IRAs and 401ks with this fabulous stock market that's gone up 50% in 3 years, it's the bottom half that's had the biggest gains. This is how our system, when you open up the system, when you deregulate the system, when you remove tax penalties in the system, when you essentially, take the sclerosis that's caused by excess government out of the system, we can build the Hoover Dam in 4 or 5 years, or the Golden Gate Bridge, or the Empire State Building can be built in 1 year. And that's what yesterday's environmental deregulation was all about. What we've done is we've reopened the economy. President Trump has rebuilt and restructured the economy in 3 years. So I don't know, the other side, many of whom are good friends of mine, they come to my show, I talk to them, they're good people, I'm sure. But the fact remains, I don't know what planet they're describing, or I don't know what country they're describing. That's all a mystery to me.
Larry, I don't think you know this, but as you were speaking, we've put the Dow Industrial Average on the other side of the screen. And when you started on that real roll in the last 2 or 3 minutes, you put the Dow at 28,995. We're within about 3 or 4 points of hitting 29,000. Would you like to continue on your roll and see if we can move it up to 29K? You've got another 30 seconds. You want to use it for that?
Look, these are long-held beliefs of mine.
Here it is.
Well,
Here it is with 29,000. You did it. Oh, Larry, what a guy.
I believe in the incentive model. I believe in free enterprise. And the great honor for me, Stu Varney, is to work for a president who holds those views and has given me a chance to be a senior policymaker. That's the wonder of this story. That's the blessing. I'm glad the stock market's going up this morning. I'm not sure I have anything to do with that. But I am here to set straight. There are facts in this game. There are facts. And I'm just trying to cite facts about wages and retirement accounts and who is benefiting and how our new system that the president has reopened, rebuilt, restructured, deregulated, how that system is now working. And it's going to get stronger and stronger. That's my job, and that's the blessing for me to be able to participate in this.
You're a good man, Larry Kudlow. You really are. And you got us to 29,000, like it or not. Mr. Kudlow, it's always a pleasure, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you
very much, sir.
How about that? By the way, 37 trading days between when it hit 28,000 and when it hit 29,000. Thank you, Charlie Brady, for that. Sixth fastest stretch of 100 points. So